Are you trying to get back into bench pressing after a shoulder labral or slap tear? Now, whether you tore the labrum, whether you strained the labrum, or whether you needed surgery on the labrum, if you're trying to get back into bench press, this video is going to be for you. There are certain circumstances where surgery is necessary, but it's needed a lot less frequent than most people would think. Surgery is going to take you a long time to recover, upwards of a year most likely if you really want to address it fully and get back to full shoulder capability. And we get frustrated when we're trying to do exercises and expect ourselves to heal in a matter of 2 to 3 weeks. And if we don't get better in 2 to 3 weeks, we think we're doomed for surgery. You're not giving yourself enough runway, enough time, and not giving yourself a planned set of progression to exercises to ultimately get you back to where you want to go. In today's video, we're going to be talking about 4 phases to get you back into bench press. We're going to start at the lowest level and work our way all the way up into full bench pressing. We're going to show you the exercises, but I'm not going to give you the sets, reps, frequency, and load that you should be using because I have no idea where you're starting from. If you want more guidance and more specificity, then it's time that you set up an online consultation. You can find a link to talk to me in my calendar down below in the description. But here's what the general process is going to look like. Lowest level, number 1, is simply just pressing your body weight, but we're going to add a band external rotation tension to help you isolate the specific area of your shoulder that needs to redevelop capacity around the bicep, around your shoulder labrum. You're going to feel a very intense burn in the spot that hurts when you do this exercise. Even with it just being body weight, it will surprise a lot of people. But it should be one of those it feels so good type of burns where you know you're doing good to the area. It should not result in lingering or an excessive amount of sharp pain that prevents you from doing anything more than you currently can't do because of pain. Now, typically, the most common starting point for people is actually at a slight incline. What this does is it reduces demand of shoulder extension. Shoulder extension is where people will run into problems. So you can not only go on a slight incline, but you can also modify the depth of which you bring your arms down towards the chest or the band down towards the chest. So if you stop with your arms even with the torso and you don't go beyond the torso, that's going to be a lot more comfortable than you allow the elbows to drop beyond neutral or beyond the torso, which is why the incline position generally is more comfortable for people to start, is because the elbows don't really go that far behind the torso versus a flat bench. When you bring the band all the way down to your chest, your elbows are going to drop a decent amount beyond parallel. Now, the reason why it hurts more is, again, because as you drop down into that shoulder extension, you're putting more tension into the shoulder labrum. By crossing midline, there's going to be a little bit more tendon compression or labrum compression that occurs at the shoulder joint. So again, if it's hurting, don't force yourself through anything. Work through the range of motion that currently feels comfortable for you, and then progress the range of motion over time. Now, just as we're progressing the range of motion over time, we can also progress the load over time. And so phase 2 is adding just a little bit of extra weight to this exercise, where we're going to apply dumbbells into the hand, but we're still going to be pushing out into external rotation into the band as well to really, again, isolate that pinpoint spot that gives you trouble, gives you pain. You want to get a very solid workout burn to that area where it feels like you're accomplishing something in that region, not causing pain and disruption and irritation in that region. Phase 3 is going to be getting back into actually bench pressing again, but we're going to do so with band assistance. Now, if you don't have bands, it doesn't mean that you can't do phase 3. It just means that you have to take more time through phase 2 before you eventually get to phase 4. So don't worry if you don't have bands, but if you have bands available to you, this is an excellent way to, again, accumulate resistance and progressive load in that lower range position, where we then are getting the most assistance from the band, and then as we press up into the arm straight, now we're getting more resistance from the weight because there's less assistance from the band. So the band provides a nice curve of the loading that occurs through the range of motion of the pressing action, where it offloads the irritable point and it loads the comfortable point. So it's a nice way to, again, start progressing beyond just using dumbbells. But again, if you don't have bands, there's nothing wrong with sticking with dumbbells, sticking with light loads for a longer progressive period of time until eventually you get back into pain-free pressing. Now, usually speaking, people are more comfortable with a pronated grip, which is a standard barbell bench press, or a pronated position of the dumbbells. What is least comfortable, but you should be able to get back into doing, is more of a neutral grip bench press. So this would be phase 4, is getting back into a neutral grip bench press, whether that has a football bar where it holds the wrist into a neutral position as you press, or it's just using dumbbells in a neutral position as you press. This is phase 4, accumulating resistance and progressive overload to the point in time where you feel like you're back to your normal self bench pressing again. Now, as I said at the beginning of this video, this progression takes time. You might get frustrated with this because of how long it does take. It takes time to accumulate capacity of your shoulder once again if you've really done a number on your shoulder and injured it. So don't get frustrated with the process, but it's important to have a process. So that's where we can help you out. We have a program, we have a shoulder program that is designed for getting you back into the weight room again to help you lift pain-free. That's in the description below. It also gives you access to me to ask questions through an app. So we can help guide you along this process, because it is a process and it will take time. So if you're trying to avoid surgery, if you're trying to get back into the gym, do so in a pain-free manner, check out that program below. Thanks again for tuning into today's video. Be sure to like, subscribe to the channel for future videos coming up.